Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. The best magician assistant of Fontaine, Lynette is here. And in this video I will going to talk about Lynette and her complete guide including her farming materials, her playstyle, what weapons she'll use, what artifacts she'll use, what's the best team comps for her, details about her constellations, etc. We will get her from Linny and Yellenbanner, and also everyone will get a free copy of her when they reach adventure rank 25. Alright, let's begin. For Lynette's Ascension materials, first you need to farm Lumidouce Bell, the local specialities of Fontaine. You need to collect 168 for her. I will make a farming guide video of Lumidouce Bell ASAP. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Artificed Spare Clockwork component is dropped by Capalia, the female ballerina dancer. Defeat them and pick female ballerina dancer's leyline and collect 46 of this drop. Kill every clockwork mecha of Fontaine and collect 36 of meshing gear, 96 of mechanical spur gear and 129 of artifice dynamic gear. For ANEMO stones, collect 1 small, 9 medium, 9 large and 6 extra large stones. You can always change the stones from other elemental stones by using Dust of Azoth. For leveling up her talents to 90, you need to farm Order Series from Pale Legacy Domain at Fontaine on Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Collect 9 of brown books, 63 of silver books and 114 of the golden books, and finally for her boss drops, you need to defeat the Dendro Dragon, a pep, at Sumeru Desert and collect 18 Everamber. Lynette is the first ANEMO unit to have talents aligned with the unique Fontaine alignments, Uzia, and Numa, which is a characteristic on abilities that help solve Fontaine puzzles and shortcut through Fontaine boss weaknesses. Just like other sword users, her normal attack performs up to 4 swift sword strikes, and her charged attack makes 2 quick swings which cost stamina. Lynette's elemental skill has a press and a hold variation. Tapping this skill will make Lynette execute an attack named Enigma Thrust that deals ANEMO damage and restores a portion of her HP. Holding this skill will make her enter a pilfering shadow state that applies Shadow Swing to a nearby enemy. After exiting this state, Lynette will unleash an Enigma Thrust attack. If an enemy is affected by the Shadow Swing effect, she will dash toward them before using Enigma Thrust. Lynette's Elemental Burst will make her raise her mantle and deal AoE ANEMO damage and spawn a giant Bogglecat box, which has various effects. This box will taunt nearby enemies and apply additional ANEMO damage. If this box gets in contact with Hydro, Cryo, Electro, or Pyro, it will deal more elemental damage by firing vivid shots. However, it should be noted that the Bogglecat box can be infused with only 1 element per cast. Her first Ascension passive is quite nice. Based on the elements in the team, using her burst will grant an attack percent boost to teammates, from 8% to 20%. This passive is like having a free 4-piece Noblesse Oblige on your team. But do remember, this effect will last 10 seconds after using her burst. With her 4th passive, when Lynette uses her elemental burst, the Bogglecat box performs elemental conversion. With that, her elemental burst will deal 15% more damage. This passive talent's effect will likely affect the ANEMO damage pulses in the vivid shots, and will remain active until Bogglecat box is removed from the field. For her talent priorities, I recommend prioritizing her elemental burst first, then her elemental skill, and for her normal and charged attacks, you don't have to level it up. Lynette's weapon choices depends on her role in teams. As an ANEMO sub DPS, you need energy recharge or elemental mastery weapons. On the other hand, as a main DPS, you need attack percent or crit weapons. As ANEMO sub DPS, her best 5-star option is Freedom Sworn, which increases elemental mastery and buff characters' damage. In addition, the sword has a high base attack, which increases Lynette's damage when she uses her skills. For 4-star alternative, Zipho's Moonlight is the best option. With increasing elemental mastery, this weapon also increases energy based on elemental mastery, which helps all the characters in the team have a high burst uptime. For energy requirements, Sacrificial Sword, Favonius Sword and Festering Desire are the great options, but with Sacrificial Sword, you can use Lynette's elemental skill up to 2 times. For craftable weapons, you can use Iron Sting. It's the best 4-star craftable option in teams with low energy requirements. Iron Sting's elemental mastery buff allows Lynette to buff her teammates while providing some respectable damage. There are more options you can choose from, but try to focus on elemental mastery and energy recharge to deal a chunk of damage with your teams. For main DPS options, you can choose the crit stat weapons like Jade Cutter, Mistsplitter Reforged, Light of Foliar Incision, Heron Jipaku Futsu, etc. Weapon with attack percent substats will also be usable as main DPS Lynette. Same as weapons, there are 2 types of artifact choices according to her role in teams. For sub-DPS Lynette, Viridescent Venerer 4-piece buffs the entire team, including Lynette herself. It increases the damage and at the same time reduces the resistance of the enemy to one of the absorbed elements, which greatly strengthens the team. Emblem of Severed Fate 4-piece set, aimed at increasing damage from her elemental burst which generates energy particles. This set is recommended if you want to focus more on damage rather than support. Gilded Dreams is comparable in damage, but much less resin efficient for good artifacts. Gilded Dreams shares a domain with the Deepwood artifact set, which is essential for teams who care about dendro-based reactions. If Lynette is the trigger in Hyperbloom teams, then this is the go-to set. Otherwise, you're best off with Viridescent Venerer. If it is not possible to assemble the 4-piece sets, then you can combine 2-piece with each other for a better serviceable build. For example, if you lack energy recharge and element mastery, a combination of Gilded Dreams and Emblem of Severed Fate will do the work. For main DPS Lynette, the new artifact Marichaus Hunter will be good. It increases normal attack damage and also increases critical chance up to 36% while receiving damage or healing. Lynette easily implements the passive due to the fact that she restores and loses HP after using her skill. Desert Pavilion works as an alternative set with ANEMO damage bonus as well as buff her speed and damage of normal attack. Vermilion Hereafter provides an increase of attack and at the same time, the passive conditions are also fulfilled without problems. And finally the standard combination of attack and ANEMO damage is also suitable for her, until you can farm the full sets. Her main stat of artifacts when using her personal damage outputs, you're looking at attack % Sands, ANEMO damage Goblet and Crit Circlet. If you don't have enough energy recharge on her, then you can swap the Sands with energy recharge. For substats, focus on energy recharge and then crit rate and crit damage along with attack %. For reaction builds, you're only looking mostly for elemental mastery in the main stats, with the option of swapping the Sands for energy recharge ones. Same as before, focus on energy recharge first and then elemental mastery and crit ratio. For a 4-star character who receives the free character treatment, is not that strong at their C0. Lynette needs all the help she can get in terms of damage. She is minimally playable at C0, but having all 6 constellations drastically improves her limited versatility. Her first constellation is highly recommended as it adds a control feature. When her skill hits a marked enemy, she'll summon a gale of wind that pulls enemies to its location. With her second constellation, when Lynette's burst deals damage from an absorbed element, it deals an additional instance of damage. Her fourth constellation allows you to use the elemental skill twice, which speeds up the generation of energy, increases the resulting damage and provides additional control. Her sixth constellation is interesting in that it makes Lynette a full-fledged main damage dealer, since she receives an ANEMO infusion and an ANEMO damage bonus after performing her elemental skill. As both on-field and off-field ANEMO unit, Lynette can be combined with almost all elements. Therefore, she enters many teams as a main or secondary damage dealer. Thanks to her passive skill, she is best revealed in compositions with different types of elements, but can also play in mono-elemental teams like mono-hydro teams, mono-pyro teams, mono-cryo teams, mono-electro teams and mono-ANEMO teams if you need an ANEMO shredder with Viridescent Venerer set. In these spots she can perform very well, especially if you don't have Kazuha in your team. She can also be used in reaction-based teams like the Taser team. In this team, Lynette can play both on-field or off-field roles by boosting Shinchu, Yellen and Beidou or Fischl's off-field abilities. Lynette could be equipped with the Viridescent Venerer set, to reduce the enemy's resistance to Electro and Hydro. Hyperbloom is one of Lynette's best teams composed of on-field Lynette, Shinchu, Fischl, and Dendro Traveler, Kali or Nahida. A very strong team against AoE content that scales higher with more enemies due to how Bloom Cores generate. Dendro characters and Shinchu create Bloom Cores, while Lynette swirls Electro from Fischl, gaining full ownership of Hyperblooms since Oz cannot target Bloom Cores. Since Lynette is already built with high elemental mastery, along with ideally any elemental mastery weapon, her Hyperbloom damage will be very relevant. Her ability to drive Shinchu along with innate grouping is a big plus here as well. Most of the characters work well with the national team. This is because the core of the national team is very strong. If players are struggling to create a team with Lynette, they could opt to play her with the national team, which is high-performing and reliable. So that's everything about Lynette. For her gameplay showcase, I have to farm for her and then I'll try to post a video about her gameplay and rotations with different teams. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing my channel if you haven't already. I will catch you guys in the next one.